Howdy and aloha, everyone. It's James with Monotalk. It is October 10th, 2024, and this is my ongoing documentary of just how fucking nuts the planet has become, especially since 2020. I mean, it's fucking out there. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of interesting things for the past 3.5, almost 4 years now. I've connected the dots. I think a lot of people are starting to connect the dots. Many have already connected the dots. But I'm sensing that a lot of people don't want to get to that end game or find out what is all of this about. What is happening? I mean, why are they going to such extremes? Why are they putting in place these puppets, these derelicts, I call them? They're just a bunch of mouthpieces, and they suck at that. We're talking about Biden, talking about Kamala Harris. They're just terrible at what they're doing. I mean, you could not have picked the worst people to run anything. Not even a fucking popsicle stand or a fucking lemonade stand. They would suck at it, and they're doing that now. It's terrible. It is terrible. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason for all of this nutsiness that's happening. It's just a fucking truckload of baloney after bull crap after steaming piles of poo. And I've been assessing this for a long time. I was on the phone earlier with my son, and I said, I don't know what you're doing or who you're voting for, and he just starts going, I'm voting for and I go, good for you, whatever you feel is best. And he's learning his own stuff. The things you want to give people is you want to give them independent media, social media, not, and let them make the decision for themselves. The people that I watch Whitney Webb, I watch Derek Bros, I like watching Jason Burmis, I like watching James Corbett, I like watching even Alex Jones, I like watching Joe Rogan, and I will jump into MSNBC or CNN, where everybody does eventually. And see some clip from the New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, Herald Examiner, Breitbart, whatever. I mean, listen to Tucker Carlson, Fox, BBC. There's just so many sources out there. It's overwhelming. And you, at a certain point, you start to see and realize after they give you the source, they give you the footnote, they give you the link, they give you the document, they give you the data, they give you the video, not doctored, not CGI'd, anything like that. And there's been a lot of stuff that has come in front of me that's, like the latest one with P. Diddy and Kamala. That was totally doctored. You could tell just by looking at it. There's been a few with Trump, with girls and all this other shit. And you just got to look at it, take everything kind of with a grain of salt. But remember there's pepper in there. That stuff gets spicy spicier the meatballs. But the point that I am making is question authority. That's our patriotic constitutional duty. That's we are supposed to be, or should be, or are in charge. That's our goal as American citizens. It's the constitutional republic. That's who we are. We're not a democracy. We use democratic systems to vote and things like that. Which is important. But a democracy is not what you think it is. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. What I'm going to get into is what's happening recently that I thought was very odd. As I was watching, not that guy. Don't worry about that guy. Doofus. I was watching this. Bldg7. Excuse me. No, I was watching this. Where is it? Where is it?
Excuse me, Mr. Macchio, Mr. Macchio.
This no, I just had it. Oh, there we go again. No, not that one. I was watching this Tropicana going down. It's going to be a commercial probably, but there it is. And they just had this last night, and they were showing how they were doing a professional demolition on it. And look. Big old theatrical fireworks and all this other shit. They're going to build a new Tropicana. By the way, I've been to the Tropicana several times. Me and a few of my buddies have been there. One of my buddies got so fucked up, he got kicked off of the table. He's fucking nerd. But a lot of that was funny and fun. No, I think that was during Ben's... Oh my God, yeah, that was during his bachelor party. We went out to Vegas. Me and a bunch of guys. Man. Anyway, so watch this. So that building right there, where it says Miller, I think that's the construction demo company. Watch. I don't want to hear the fucking music. God, Jesus. That, yeah. That's the one building. Here's the other building. There's the Bellagio and the Mandalay Bay. I've stayed at the MGM. I think I've stayed... Oh, yeah, I have been to Excalibur. I can't count how many times I've been to fucking Vegas. It's kind of crazy. But that's interesting because that looks like a demolition. I mean, excuse me. That is a demolition. That's the way it works, right? And then I found this that I had before. Let's just watch this one. Not that one. I'm already there. Right here, watch.
Came back 20 minutes later, looking like a Three Stooges movie cover.
Now, what you can't see, but I'm going to see if I can open it big enough for where you can see, is you can see the windows blowing out from the top to the bottom.
The second movie came back 20 minutes later.
Already, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 10 rows down, windows are blowing out. If you can see down here, there's 3 windows that are blown out. And then 4, and then 5, and then 6, and then 7, and then a bunch of them.
That's good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa!
Wow. Isn't that interesting?
Then we went back there. Whoa! That's good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa!
You know what I'm going to say? It's identical. What happened there and what happens here. No, not right there. Just had it. God damn it. I got to go back one. And what happens here That doesn't look the same at all. That's just not even close, man. There's no resemblance at all to the actual visual, provable process and system right in your face that is identical. It's not even. Fuck. I mean, all right, here, let's watch this one. This is better. This is my favorite. This is my favorite. Okay, this is my favorite. Watch this.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing. And indeed it has. Apparently that's only a few hundred yards away from where the World Trade Center...
That's Building 7. That's this, which one is it?
Don't need to worry about that. And
you're gonna see that. Yeah.
Then we went back there. Whoa. Then we went back there. Whoa.
Yeah. This is Building 7. Okay? Collapsing. Pay attention. You're going to miss something. Woo! My gosh. All right. Now we're going to go to... We're going to continue with this report.
Towers were. And it seems that this was not a result of a new attack. It was because the building had been weakened during this morning's attacks. We'll probably find out more now about that from our correspondent, Jane Stanley. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy. There's almost a sense downtown in New York behind me, down by the World Trade Centers, of just an area completely closed off as the rescue workers try to do their job. But this isn't the first building that has suffered as a result. We know that part of the Marriott Hotel next to the World Trade Center also collapsed as a result of this huge amount of falling debris from 110 floors of the two twin towers of the World Trade Center. As you can see behind me, the Trade Center appears to be...
I'm going to pause it there because right where her forehead is, where, like, if her hair was, like, touching a top corner of a building, guess what building that is? I want you to guess what building that is. Yeah, that's Building 7. It's still up. It's still up. But what are they reporting? What are they reporting? What are they reporting? Oh, that's right, that it's already fallen. They have predicted that a particular building that's almost about a half a mile in distance from the base of Trade Center Tower 1 has already collapsed. That's what they're reporting. These people should fucking play the lottery. These people are just amazing. They're amazing when it comes to predicting the future. Nostradamus would be fucking just elated or jealous as hell. This is what the BBC is doing. They are actually, and I got to find this picture because I know it's in here, so give me a second. No difference. Of course, it's disappearing. That's gone. It's gone. That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, there it is. It's fucking right in front of my face. Let me explain what's happening here. At approximately, now that, what's interesting about that recording of the BBC, right here, okay, the BBC reported this at about 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's what that girl's saying. About 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then, 20 minutes later, let's read the top. Building 7 had no smoke blowing over it, no debris seen hitting it, videotape of being hit by anything, but it came down at 5:20. And if you look at my diagrams that I put together here, right? See, here's the, let's go over here. I'll just show you this. So there's building 7. You see this, the number 7. Okay? This is called research. This is called questioning authority and its sources at every turn. That's what I'm doing now. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's what I do. I'm questioning the authority and the sources at every turn. That's what I've always done. There's nothing wrong with that. That's our constitutional right to make sure that what we're being given and told and printed out or relayed to us from whatever sources are out there, that we know it's accurate and true. So what we do know is that Building 7 came down. That we know. What we also know is that the BBC predicted it 20 minutes prior. Out of all the buildings in the area, I'm going to show you something here. This is what's really interesting. Out of all the buildings in the area, right, which I'm going to show you, yeah, there's a lot of fucking buildings in the area. This building here, I think it's it's not a trade tower, it's finance tower or something. Just under where it says Building 6 was tiny compared to Building 7. Okay, but Building 7 went down too, which is very interesting, which is kind of okay. It makes more sense because it's right next to Tower 1. So the base of Tower 1, that's actually not accurate because my distance indicators here, that should be a little further to the right, closer, because there's the column shit. So anyway, so it's further than what the distance, but I'm just indicating that as the distance. It's far away. Building 7 is right there. See, Building 7. The building mainstream media never talks about. Okay? There's the wind. 5 mile an hour wind. Didn't change. It was the same. It was a little less, actually, in the morning. As it got later, it kind of picked up a little bit. But the wind is not blowing over, as you can see. It's not blowing over Building 7. The plane itself crashed away. Supposedly a plane, I gotta say supposedly, a plane crashed away. Okay, and if you want to get me on that, whatever. But I think that what we really need to focus on is the BBC clearly stated Building 7 went down. I actually watched that in real time, by the way. I did not know at the time that Building 7 was behind her and still up. It's still right there. It's at that top right corner. I don't know if you can see my pen or my pointer.
still burning. We see
right there.
as you can see behind me, the
Building 7 is still there, but we told you it wasn't.
Trade Center appears to be still burning. We see these huge clouds of smoke and ash, and we know that behind that there's an empty piece of what was a very familiar New York skyline, a symbol of the financial prosperity of this city, but completely.
There it is, right over her left ear. Right above her left shoulder. That building came down all by itself. Okay? But how did that thing come down? How did that thing come down? How did that happen?
That's good shit. Then we went back there. Whoa, 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 whoa!
Wow. That is amazing. Hey, watch this. This is when they told him.
Doesn't know the second plane has hit the building.
I had to deliver a message that the president didn't expect to hear and was almost unbelievable. But it also literally was the message he had to hear, whether he wanted to or not.
Andy Card comes up to behind me and says, second plane has hit the second tower, America's under attack.
Look at that face. Look at that face. That face is like, fuck, they did it. Oh my God, they fucking did it, man. He doesn't know what, he knew it was going to happen. He completely knew. At that point, I would say, excuse me. I am the President of the United States and we have just had a national emergency. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to go, you guys. I care and love you all, but I've got to go take care of something that's very important. Please listen to your teachers when they tell you and be safe. Take care. That's it. But he just kept going. New York does not allow decisions of preparation of safety features of buildings. I don't know what that means. Decisions? Sorry. I gotta fucking look that up now. Way to go, Snork. Decisions. We're gonna go look at this. Decisions. You mean discussions? They don't allow discussions of preparation and safety. There was a video I had, and I saved it. It showed how these contractors came in and filled the rooms all over the World Trade Center and other buildings with like tons and tons months before 9/11. And they were all companies that are connected to demo squads. And somebody did an amazing documentary about it and how it all was placed in place. And the thermite that they used instead of like super explosions that they usually use was used. They wrapped it around however they placed it very cleverly. I mean, the engineers, Ask North, are pretty discussions, yeah. They just thermited the fuck out of these pillars, and they did it really well. They've done it in the past too. You can go the loud, booming way, or you can do it the other way. But I am going to tell you this. After that happened, after all that happened, the average amount, before that happened, we were probably doing 180 to 200,000 in war and military industrial complex funding. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't that much. We didn't get really. Why is this thing doing this? And then after that, it went up. The average amount that the military industrial complex has received since 9/11 is about $700 billion on average now. Maybe a little less. But still, it's a fucking shit ton of money. And I don't see my daughter, I don't see fucking anybody out there that's actually in the trenches, on the ships, flying the planes, loading the bombs, or maintaining our defense, driving a fucking brand new BMW. You know, I don't see those people with that money. But a lot of them are still struggling. A lot of them have to use WIC and food stamps for their families. Yeah, it's that none of that money goes. None of it's ever really gone. It's been feeding the Enron, Lockheed Martin. I mean, back in those days, McDonnell Douglas was still around. But you know, Boeing, etc. It's you know, and a bunch of other little companies out there that make this part and that part and this part and that toilet seat that costs $12,000, and this little mechanism here or billow that costs fucking $350 a piece or something like that. Just all kinds of shit. But that's how you start that process going. Is you create the fear to nurture the need, and they've been doing it ever since. And then, I mean, we've had little this, that, all kinds of little things happen, but another industry that's out there that they all know. There's so many industries. How do we scare people into taking something that we can make billions off of? What else is there? What other industry is there? Yeah, because of the Citicorp Center engineering crisis, New York does not allow news of anything that is done to a building for safety or even allowing destruction in case of integrity or failure. Oh, interesting. But they needed other things too. Do you remember the 2007 housing crisis where the banks folded and we reimbursed them? And well, that was a thing that was created by Moody's. Who else is the loan backers? Not J.P. Morgan, but there's some other bears and just a bunch of fucking. That was calculated to take it down, and if you saw The Big Short, that's just half of it. It was created to destroy, to replenish a system that had already taken out money on bad paper or bad loans. They insured against the loans that they were giving out. And they knew it. And they knew they were shit. Yeah, that's another scam. And so they decided after that to bail out AIG and all these other banks. You know, Obama. It did it all. Took care of all of them. That was a scam too, right? And then that caused for more regulation, more money, more helping. It really helped the banks a lot. It didn't help us. None of this ever helps us. It never fucking helps us. But then there's the news scare, and it happens like every 10 years, it seems like. 8 to 10 years. Yeah, they got paid in full, like Snork is saying. And then they still went after the people for the loans and put them in bankruptcy or collections and all kinds of shit, and just went after them, garnished their wages, all kinds of shit. It was terrible. That 2008, 2009, 2010 was terrible. It was bad for a lot of people. Okay, and then the next one, right? Here's the next one. And I'll show you because I wrote it right here in the middle. The two-party oligarchy fooled you with 9/11. I should have put that. Also fooled you with 2008 housing crisis. And they're fooling you with Fluvid-19. They're doing that too. They did it. And they got it. And they fucked you up. And they, not a problem. You know, the Tropicana is basically demolition. They use explosives in that one. They kind of make it exciting. I'm sure they used a little thermite. It was just terrible. It's terrible. Now, I got to say a quick thing about Helene, and Milton. Yeah, there's just a lot of information out there in regards to how sophisticated our systems are in manipulating the weather. And we're really good at it. We've been doing it for a while. We're extremely good at manipulating the weather. We're really good at it. We've been doing it for a long time. We're becoming champions. Last year is when there was a CNN came out, did a little expose or a little mini doc. No, it wasn't a mini doc, but they did a little sketch, I guess you'd say, on the cloud seeding, and everything's fine. But there's other ways. There's the array systems on the ground. There's so many different things that they do. They create clouds, and it's just it's kind of exhausting, man. It really is. When you start to connect the dots, just the dots fall in your lap. I got to tell you that, you know. And I was talking about, you know, always questioning the authority and its sources at every turn. But some of the stuff I get, it just falls in my lap. It just fucking falls in my lap. And I'm just like, somebody from Google, like, putting stuff on my algorithm? Or what the hell is going on here? Because I will get stuff that'll pop up on Twitter, it'll pop up on Facebook, it'll pop up, you know, YouTube. And I'm just going, oh my God, that's exactly what's happening. That's it. And then I'll put it up. And it's almost like there's somebody in there or somebody out there, maybe AI is telling me, I'm not sure, and I'm a little concerned. But it's so easy to find. The stuff those are real videos. That's real information. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's actually not a coincidence. Nostradamus isn't alive anymore. You know, this thing with Helene and Milton, it's yes, we do the cloud seeding. Yes, we have array systems. Yes, we have targeted lasers that are able to manipulate all kinds of things in larger spans. The metal that's in the air that we spray in there can be moved and grooved and Milton dropped over 20 tornadoes on Florida, and 4 were killed by the tornadoes. That's wild. That's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm watching this. Let me just go down the line here. I'll just kind of show you. Let me go back into that playlist. I just want to make sure I'm in the right place here. I'm going to go in this one. Climate science playlist. Here we go. Taking a little while. I got a lot of things open.
More on the latest.
Yeah. I remember, isn't that crazy? That's so nuts. Yeah, look at all these other buildings. I just got to show you this real quick. Building demolition compilation. It's going to be a commercial. I guarantee it. Yeah, it is a commercial. What the fuck? Oh, here we go now. I'm gonna show you. No, I'm gonna show you like a real building. Not that. Well, that looks familiar. The older they are, the least sophisticated. You know, that guy just fucking did it with a shovel. There's a good one. GoPro. So this is pretty recent.
Explosive set. All floors clear. Grounds clear. 3, 2, 1. Fire. Nice job, team.
That's pretty wild. Oh, that's good to hear, Jordan. That's awesome, bro. God bless him. For sure, for sure, for sure. Good to hear. Good to know the family's okay. I just got to say. They get worried about me out here being in Missouri, but I'm kind of like, I'm not going to say I'm completely free and clear, but I'm kind of in the middle, it seems. I don't think, usually these storms that come through that are pretty bad usually want to get through the city or want to go by St. Louis. It's kind of weird. They'll go over Springfield, which is actually the capital of Missouri. That place gets beat up pretty bad. Anyway, yeah, I bet you they were pretty crazy, Jordan. So here we are, Helene and Milton. And I've got all this information out there. Truth about Federal Reserve. No, that's not. Yeah. No, that's not. Okay.
The abortion lobby.
Yeah, I need to use the other one, but anyway.
Technology in this thing is this.
Okay.
Even worse, controlling the weather using NextRad Doppler radar installation. I want to talk about Helene in a minute here, but
This is Dane Pennington. Geoengineeringwatch.com or .org, and I've been following him for a while.
right now we've got Hurricane Milton bearing down on Florida, and overnight we see this small sort of secondary storm now in front of it, almost like a twin storm about to hit Florida. Then overnight we also saw these massive wildfires breaking out in the Tetons in Wyoming. So you know, a lot of Americans are so frustrated right now. They're sitting there saying, why would our government do this to us? First of all, let's talk about Milton. is there any weather modification by the government being used or directing of this storm into Florida from your evidence?
Short answer, yes. And if I could back up to why would our government do this? Why wouldn't they do this when this has been business as usual for decades? If we look at what the Washington Post published all the way back in 1977, that the U.S. military had conducted no less than 239 open-air biological tests on innocent, unknowing U.S. civilians. That's what we know about going back that far. If we look at the nuclear bomb detonations in Nevada, we have peer-reviewed study now to prove that those detonations eventually caused no less than 500,000 downstream deaths from the fallout for U.S. civilians. That's peer-reviewed study. So again, for those that can't imagine that the people who actually control our government, which I would argue is not any elected official, it's those who control the flow of money, this is business as usual. Why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't they use weather as a covert weapon of control?
Wait.
Nations eventually caused no less than 500,000 downstream deaths from the fallout for U.S. civilians. That's peer-reviewed study. So again, for those that can't imagine that the people who actually control our government, which I would argue is not any elected official, it's those who control the flow of money, this is business as usual. And why wouldn't they do this? Why wouldn't they use weather as a covert weapon of control? If we look all the way back, Clayton, to film footage of Lyndon Johnson in 1962, former U.S. President Lyndon Johnson, 1962, on film, on the record, ranting like a lunatic, stating we had the power to control the world's cloud layer then, 62 years ago, and, quote, he who controls the weather controls the world. So, again, this is not speculation. And we have other governments like China openly announcing their massive weather modification operations, and yet if you bring the subject up here in the U.S., suddenly you're marginalized. That needs to change. In regards to Milton, there's no question it's being manipulated, and there's a global network of frequency transmitters that have a repelling effect on the air mass that is heavily seeded with electrically conductive elements. And if you saw the track of Milton, it got hung up a bit on the Yucatan Peninsula. There's a massive transmitter in Cancun, and we recorded the transmissions from that, trying to bump that storm back onto track. And again, once it gets near enough to landfall in the U.S., where the NextRad network then becomes the controlling element, we've recorded this again and again and again. Even with hurricanes like Harvey, for example, Clayton, you might remember 7 days in advance, they seemed to know where it was going to go and that it was going to sit there for days. How could they possibly know that? Unless that's the plan. And we recorded Harvey. We recorded the actual transmissions with Harvey, Ian, Maria, Michael, all these hurricanes and their interaction with the transmitters. This is patented technology. So again, it's not like we're speculating.
I'm not speculating anymore. I'm not. We have a cloud seeding a year ago. CNN brings it up. I brought that up earlier in this particular show segment. Many people know that they've had the technology for a long time. It's much more advanced now. Far more advanced. It's far more. They can start these things and get them riled up, strengthen them over time. Let me show you an example. There's an aurora. Now watch this. This is very interesting. This is true. This happened. All right. This is the tracking. Watch what it does. Watch what this fucking thing does, man. This is nuts. Watch this.
This hurricane on where to go. Almost like someone is directing this hurricane on where to go.
That's the sound of a roller coaster, if you've never been on one. Yeah, it's just really interesting. And we need to look into it. I mean, Winnington, I said Pennington, but it's not Pennington, it's Winning, whatever. Winnington has been studying this for a long time. He's been on Jimmy Dore, he's been on a lot of different shows. You'll never see him on MSNBC. You will never see him on CNN. You will probably never see him on Fox either. What you will hear is that he's a conspiracy theorist and stuff like that. But this man has done so much. Just check out his YouTube. If you need the link, let me know. He's got a lot of information. I'm still October. Nadine is coming next. Okay, there's all kinds of shit coming. Yeah. There's also a land grab happening too, which is usually kind of common. Once these places get blown out, there are some vultures out there that will come in and try to buy property and offer money just to get these people from underneath, just from where they're at. So for their land, if they have an acre, they'll say, I know at the time it was worth $200,000, but if you want to get rid of it and go start somewhere else, I'll give you $75,000. And it's another good distraction. Thank you. Very good, Snort. It's a very good distraction too to keep Team Guzzler going. Yeah, and she's not doing anything. There's actually something that came out I wanted to show you. That I was like, really? Did that fucking really happen? But you gotta watch this. Yeah, I think that was interesting. Where is it? I just had it up here. So I guess what happened is she did a photo op of showing a bunch to take care of thousands and thousands of people, and it didn't happen. It didn't go. They were showing that they were loading things, and it didn't happen. Oh, look at that, luckyburrito.com. Oh, good job, guys. Lucky Burrito, Steve Coulter, Stevers. All right, I think I have it here. Let me see if I have it here. That's a good one. What's the difference between Bidenomics, right? You gotta see this. Yeah. Take your pick. It's only going to get worse with Kamala Bidenomics. Their goal is to destroy it all. That's it. I tried to tell you. I'm going to keep, I may be sounding like a broken record, but I'm telling you, that little fucking Mexican guy that dances is fucking awesome. You gotta show me. He goes, just I'm such a dork. Okay, yeah. So I think I put it here somewhere. I recommend watching this to anybody. Go look up on YouTube the Corbett Report, naming names and connecting dots in the globalist agenda. And there's a lady in here that does a really good job at pointing out some of the major players, some of the very big major players And some of them you know, and some you've never fucking heard of before, which I already told you that. Most of these people, you have no idea who they are. Great way to get stories about Team Guzzler. Yeah, that's so funny. All right, here we go. Let me get that. Was it this one? Maybe it was this one. Oh, yeah, here.
Ground cloud seeding machines to be put in. They anticipate at least another 200 ground cloud seeding machines to be put in before next season.
Ginger, this is such a cool concept, but is it too good to be true? I mean, how do we know that the chemicals that they're spraying from the air aren't bad for us or the planet?
The good news is we've been doing this since the 1940s and 50s. Other countries do it, and there have been a lot of research projects that have shown that the silver iodide, for example, is not found. It's negligible once it gets down to ground level.
So, again, I don't want to be too skeptical, but is there anything wrong with manipulating nature like this?
I think that's the question we should have asked when we built every single parking lot and every rooftop. We have been manipulating weather with us for a very long time. I do think that looking at and continuing research on when these programs get bigger, if it will affect people downstream, that needs to be watched.
At least we're manipulating it now to help the planet.
That cloud seeding...
To help the planet. You know who eats that up? Is people I know in my immediate family that also watch Rachel Maddow religiously, and Lawrence and Chris Hayes and all this other fucking, yeah. It's just amazing. It's just fucking amazing. It's anyway. You know, I don't like to make people feel stupid or dumb. They can do that to themselves. I've done it to myself, trust me. But at a certain point, you know, when you point out that, hey, man, your V8, there's a lot of smoke coming out of that tailpipe, and you need a few spark plugs because it's not firing on all cylinders. That's what you tell them. And some people won't fucking pay attention. Right? Some people won't pay attention. So I always say, go here. Check out all these websites. Those against the World Economic Forum, the Who. I'm still updating. I got to put the URLs in some of these. Is it this one? What about this one right here? Is this one messed up? No, yeah, that one's messed up. Anyway. I put them in there. You can just copy and paste them over, but I got to fix it so it goes straight to the URL to a new tab, which I will do. Door to Freedom is good. This is hers. The girl that did this, Where is it? Right here. No, not right there. Right here. This is the person that did this for James Corbett. Is the Door of Freedom. Freedom Rising. Door of Freedom. Just amazing information. Attack on food and farmers and how to fight back. There's a symposium that happened on September 17th. A lot of different things you guys can get involved with. 26 U.S. state governors oppose WHO pandemic treaty. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Biosecurity agenda. Farms they want to take down. I mean, this is just one of many pages. Wide Awake Media. Rebel News. You've seen them. They've been to the Davos meetings, right? Vaccine Safety Research Foundation. You have, of course, Steve Kirsch in there. Heiko Sepp is in there. Lots of people. Lots of data. Lots of information. Data, information, videos. Best News gets a little wild, but usually comes true from what I've seen. Yeah, don't just believe it if it's on Instagram, Facebook, X, or whatever. Go look for yourself. Follow the definitely follow the links or any information that you can. And do your own fucking due diligence, man. Do your own work, right? Make sure you get your own work going. So the last thing I'm going to leave with for tonight is I'm going to tell you this very simple. The Democratic supporting people that are still out there, there's probably 30 or 40 million left. I don't think there's any more. I've kind of crunched the numbers, and it's always been in like the 50, 60 million range. It's maybe gone up a little bit, down a little bit, but now I think they're down to about 40 million, maybe just over 40 million. Those people that are left that are still praising, men in bathrooms and tampons in men's bathrooms. I just, fuck. Oh my God, this is fucking hilarious. And still want to send money to Ukraine all the time and Israel or wherever else they want to fucking send money to, and want to wear a mask, want to keep getting boosters, whatever your fucking deal is, you're gone. You're pretty much gone. You've probably, if you're on your third, fourth, or fifth booster, you probably have some severe disease and you're just barely hanging on. I guarantee it. You've probably been sick over and over and over again. You weren't good at, like, if you're like 40, 50, 60 years old, you're Xer, Gen X. When you were a kid, you probably got like 8 vaccines or medications or something when you were a kid. Now the vaccine schedule is up to about 40 something. It's really terrible. Autism on crazy, disease on crazy. I just put this up just a little bit ago. Let me see here. Give me a second. I should go through these. There's a lot of good opinion. That's my favorite right here. It was all theater. But some of you don't want to believe it. You have such a profound hate of a man that, based on mainstream media, implanted some pretty bad things. And I was there, man. I'm telling you, I was fucking there. And then Russia came by, and the Steele dossier, and the guy that still backed the Steele dossier filed few $1 million defamation or something against one of the outlets or something like that, and he walked away with $2.1 million. So that's why he kept pushing the Steele dossier. He still believes that it was real, but it never panned out. Just check with fucking Julian Assange. Check with Glenn Greenwald. Check with a lot of very reputable, Whitney Webb. Check with a lot of people. Ryan Christian from Last American Vagabond, that I like to watch. I need to bring him up more. He was actually on Montauk for a little bit too. Yeah, and I just found out that the guy's not what they've been saying. He's just some fucking land developing real estate guy that fucking had his own sitcom show, The Apprentice, was loved and adored by everybody, and then all of a sudden he put his name in a hat to run, and then everybody turned on him because he wasn't part of a very, very heinous, disgusting, and horrible, horrific type group of people that he found out later that's what they're about. They went after him. But anyway, Yeah, you guys are gone. I'm not going to convince you. I'm not going to try. I'm just going to tell you, just keep taking those boosters. I recommend that if you are voting for Kamala Harris in 3 or 4 weeks from now, that I recommend that you get some triple and double and quadruple boosters just to make sure you're safe. I want you to go out there and just really booster up. And booster. Get it. Get that booster, gosh darn it. Get your COVID booster. Gosh darn it. You know, if you haven't, you need to. Especially if you're voting for Bidenomics, Kamalanomics, and their process. That's all I have to say. Hopefully you'll be around to see what's going to happen in the future. I pray that you do. I really do. I pray that you do. But I'm only telling you that because as malicious as that sounds, if that sounds malicious to you in what I'm saying and what I'm asking you to do, then maybe you shouldn't have done it in the first place. I know, yeah, I've done some very stupid shit in my time. And I've been on the edge of cliffs and been borderline guns, gangs, drugs, all kinds of stuff in my lifetime. I've been around it all, big and fucking small. And I'm telling you, I know where the edge is. I know where that edge is. I've hung my toes over the literal edge of a 20-story building just to see what it felt like. It's pretty, but I'm telling you, it's, what's interesting is that you have to go that deep. You have to break out of this indoctrination that you're in, that you just have to just watch this and just pay attention to these people, and academia cares about you, even they were created by fucking the Rockefellers, right? So was Crisco, so was fucking Big Pharma. I mean, anyway, there's just nothing I can help. You're gone. There's nothing I can do for you. I mean, all you people, I mean, I love you. Take care of yourselves. Do what you can do. But you made the decision. You made the decision. You're going to put that sticker on. You're going to continue with the child trafficking. I mean, that's what that says. If you have a Kamala Waltz sticker on your car, that means you want pedophiles in the classroom. Period. That's what it means. What else does it mean? You want story time about sexually explicit information being heard and seen by 8-year-olds. That's okay? Yeah, I told you why they do it. The globalists want the globalists want pedophilia to be okay. And you're making it that way. So you're a part of it. You are a part of that sickness. Whether you know it or not, you are. You're voting for the 350,000 children that are missing from the border. And it's not a made-up fucking number. It's not a made-up number. It comes straight from the fucking border patrol itself. They can't find or know where 350,000 children are. They're gone. Poof. Just disappeared. But that's what you're voting for. Crazy. Aloha.